So welcome to the channel. It's your boy EO here. So today we're going to talk about how I accidentally met my future wife in Nairobi. So it's a funny story. It's just pure vibes only, pure talk, no BS. Yeah. So on this particular day, I was with my dad, and you know how me and my dad are really close? We pretty much do everything together. We go out together. In this circumstance, me and my dad, we wanted to go to a shopping mall in Karen, and the place was called, I think it was called The Hub. So that was actually where I accidentally found my future wife. So let's go back to the beginning, to where it all happened. So of course, you know, you're gonna have to go through multiple women to find that one person that you see yourself with in the long term, you know. But for me, I only knew this chick for one day. You know, I saw everything I wanted to see. Okay, cool. We had to go around to find, you know, the one, my future wife. So we decided to go to a safari zoo. So this was on a weekend, on a Saturday. Surprisingly, we didn't really find any women. It was mostly kids, you know, kids from school, until this happened. I saw a beautiful tour guide. You know, she had a nice smile, she had a nice personality, you know, everything was there, you know, nice physique, you know, everything was there, you know, all the boxes were ticked. As she was showing us around, you know, if I wanted to go and look at, let's say, a snake, I go walk that way. I walk that way. She would follow me and she would be close to me, you know, she'll be proper trying like close to me, you know what I'm saying? And my dad is just looking at me like, this boy, he knows what he's doing. This boy has got game. He knows what he's doing. Okay, cool. This is the girl, right? And this is me, right? I'm going this way and she's going this way. And as she's going this way, she's looking at me. You know, she's looking at me, she's eyeing me, you know. So I'm looking around, seeing what's out there, you know. I'm looking around, looking at the different animals, and she's just looking at me. She's not paying attention to what's going on around her. You know, her job was to show us around, you know, show us the different animals and stuff like that. But she was too busy looking at me to even pay attention to what's going on. So this was me, right? And this was her. You know, she wasn't paying attention to what was going on around her. She was just looking around. She wasn't even looking around. She was just, her eyes were on me, only me. In the UK, you're not going to experience that. If you try and talk to a girl and she might be interested, she's going to expect you to do all the pursuing. But in Kenya, in Africa, wherever you go abroad, yeah, pretty much the girls are going to be choosing you. You know, they're not going to be afraid to make the first move. You know, it's all equal. It's not where I'm having to do all the work. And my dad is just looking at me like, this guy, he's a naughty, naughty boy. This guy, you know how, you know, some parents are, you know, they will just watch. They will pretend that they don't know what's going on, but they know what's going on. So yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Let me see if I can get her WhatsApp. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I need to get her WhatsApp. But my dad is here, you know, I can't get her WhatsApp and a number if my dad is watching, you know. I can't let him know what's going on. So, you know, I would always ask him, are you going to the toilet now? Are you going to the toilet? Do you want to go to the toilet? You know, so I can have some one-to-one time with her, you know, I can talk to her. But at the end of the day, you know, I got her number, I got her WhatsApp. But surprisingly, something happened. I got her WhatsApp and then she's asking me for money. And I was like, "Boy, that was a complete U-turn." I was thinking, oh my days, this girl was interested, I was happy, I was, gassed up, but then she started asking me for 1,000 shillings, for tip. I mean, there's nothing wrong with me giving her money. I don't mind giving her money. That's not the problem, I'm not saying every woman is like that. You've got your good woman and you've got your woman who just want money. Yeah, I just was like, yeah, this is not my future wife. Yeah, it's not my future wife. I mean, I don't mind giving women money, but it has to be for a reason, you get me? Not just, for a tip and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, 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 no. So I was like, yeah, this can't be my future wife. At this point, I was like, you know what? Let's go somewhere else. It's still a new day. It's still a fresh day. Let's go to the shopping center. This was where I actually found my future wife. Someone that I thought was like, wow, she had the looks, the personality, everything was there. And of course, you've got some women can show their true colors. Not every woman is the same, of course. So yeah, after that, we went to the shopping mall. We went to a place called The Hub, is in Karen. So yeah, we was just going there to check out, the place, what it looks like, because it was my first time in Nairobi. I didn't really know a lot of things to do there. I was still kind of new to the place. So yeah, we was walking around and instantly I saw this gorgeous woman and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, 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 that's it. In my head, I was like, yeah, this has to be the one. And the thing is, what made it so sweet, what made the victory so sweet was that, she had a friend. So basically, there was two women in the store and they were both giggling and they were pointing fingers at me. They were like, oh, this guy, yeah. They were laughing. Ooh, 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 you know. So yeah, that's what happened. So I was like, okay, wow, this is kind of something that I'm new to. I'm not really used to it in the UK. In the UK, yeah, you're gonna get women that are interested in you, but they're not gonna show their interest. So I went up to them, I had a conversation with them. So what happened was I had a conversation, right? And her friend, I only had eyes for one girl. Let's say, okay, cool, you go into the shop. There's two girls standing right in front of you know, and you want to talk to that one girl. So you go and try to have a conversation with that one girl. And that one girl, is all going good. And then her friend just keeps interrupting. Yeah, so that's what happened. I started talking with her, and then her friend was saying that, oh, why are you not talking to me? So I was in a situation where I was getting two women that were interested. So I was in a sticky situation. I had to choose between the two. But obviously, I had my eyes on that dark skin, 5'2" girl, I had my eyes on her. I asked her where she was from. She told me that she was from Nagong. I don't know where that is, but if you guys know, please do let me know down in the comments. So she asked me where I was from, and I told her that I was from South Africa. So what I told her that I have a British accent and that I grew up in South Africa for most of my life. But that was not true. I live in the UK, that's where my home is. But I did not want to tell her that. I've had experiences where they see that you're from the America or you're from UK and they think that you have money. So I always try and lie about where I'm from. So to be fair, the whole video is not about finding your future wife. It was about me actually trying to find how women interact with men. Let's say you're coming from the UK, America. How do they interact with men in Kenya, in Africa? So that was the whole point of this kind of story. Of course, you can argue that not every woman is the same. Also, what I've learned is that depending on what country you come from, whether you come from the UK, the US, Canada, this will determine how women will treat you. Like, let's say you're from UK, you're from US. Some women may have that perception that you have money, you're rich. Or it could be the way you dress. Sometimes I see so many guys just do too much, They're wearing all this nice chains, nice trainers, Gucci belt, Louis Vuitton. And what they're doing is that they're setting themselves up for failure, You're attracting the wrong type of woman. How are you going to expect to attract the woman that you expect to be with long term, whether that be in a relationship or a marriage? Obviously, you can dress nice, but just make sure that you don't go overboard. You don't do too much. So at the end of the day, Kenya showed me that having a connection with a woman is, it's still possible, face-to-face interactions where the women are not being transactional like what you would experience in the UK or America. That women are not being cold. So maybe it's time for you guys to experience something new, a new place, a new city, somewhere like Africa, like Kenya. For me, Nairobi has shifted my perspective. So make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment. Peace.